It's beautiful. All right, so I suppose I'll have Tony this time recap the story. Tell us what Mad Bull 34 is about.
What is Mad Bull 34 about?
Yeah.
Mad.
It's a philosophical question.
Is it because I did such a good job doing it last time?
Yes, I think you did.
Yeah, I the best.
Okay, so Mad Bull 34 is about this buddy duo that that are take.
You're
Man,
doing great. Keep going. You're doing great.
I wanna say it, but I mean, like, New York is filled with drugs, rape, murder, and hookers.
Wait, is this dubbed or is this subbed?
The Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
A powerful symbol of the
Dude, this sounded like one of you on the microphone right now. So
Statue of Liberty.
There are many who would abuse those principles. It is the job of the New York Police Department to keep these elements under control.
Fuck yeah.
Basically, it's about two guys trying to take back New York from the filthy streets. It's mainly about it's mainly about Mad Bull just being Mad Bull. That's all I gotta say. Like, the story doesn't matter. It's just him just being himself. You know?
You're playing that, huh?
I could ask you the same question. We're supposed to be on duty, you know.
Oh, yeah, now I get it. Ha! I know you're a virgin, aren't you? Let's just cut the funnies. Drop your weapons and get your hands in the air, or you ain't gonna live to see this afternoon. Hey, screw you!
Sleepy!
Hey, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
I suppose so, yeah.
The story is framed as like a Watson Sherlock type thing where you think what's the Daizaburo,
An American-born Japanese named Daizaburo
They didn't say
Ediban,
cursing.
aged 18 and already an accomplished marksman and an expert in the martial arts. Daizaburo felt sure he was ready to
Look how
deal
tiny
with
he
the
is.
challenge of
Yeah.
his first day on the force.
I love it.
is our little Japanese American guy. You think he's the main protagonist, but it turns out he's like the Watson to this brilliant man who's Mad Bull, who's not always, or he's always 50 steps ahead of his enemy.
Don't think so. I'm sure you'll find they came along fully prepared.
What are you
Yeah,
talking
I'm sure that was
about,
the reasoning
Sleepy?
behind him killing them. and
Take a
not-
look inside
They
one of
just
their
wanted to do
jackets,
it.
Daizaburo.
So we're just like him, just normal 5'1" Japanese American guy being exposed to the world of America, full of violence. Say it again, Tony. Full of
Violence, crime, hookers, and prostitution, rape, murder, rape.
and Mad Bull is just our friend who's in that world. We're just
Like,
along for the ride.
Drugs,
Like, you're
crime,
just-
prostitution, filth. Broken dreams and no ice creams.
Broken dreams, broken buttholes.
Man, yeah, there's a lot of broken buttholes. God,
Yeah.
a lot of sex. There's a lot of sex. Mad Bull, he loves the sex.
Oh,
I can see him pounding someone out.
That's all I ever wanted to see. Damn, dude! Damn!
You can tell this was from that period of OVAs where everybody was trying to like make them as extreme as possible and try to get attention. So you had this, and you had things like MD Geist and like all these crazy OVAs. Wicked City. So this is from that kind of era where everything was like extreme and like super loud and violent and gory.
Okay, so from last week, I think all of us, me and Chad, were both kind of expecting like a bad anime. Like, I think we're like for an entire week, I was like, man, I can't wait for the next bad anime goof on. But this was great. I loved every second of it.
Yeah,
I was horribly invested.
This was fantastic, actually. The reason I picked this one is because if you look at it on like different rating sites, they have it at like a 4 or 5, and that's because it seems like people either give it a high rating or a very low rating.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, since we did one with a consistently low rating last time, I thought we'd do one with more of like a mixed reception this time. So, and I didn't really do much. I read like a short synopsis on it, and looked at some images, and then saw the rating scores, and that was about it. I didn't do any other preparation for this.
Yeah, during your PP break, me and Tony were powwowing pretty hard about this, the camp factor, and how
oh god,
anything that you can complain about this movie, if you were to complain about this movie, it probably is because you don't get it. Like all the ridiculous, over the top, stupid stuff in this movie. Like if you don't instantly love that stuff for what it is, then you probably don't get it to begin with. So that's why I don't like have any complaints about it. Like there's plenty of horrible, retarded stuff in this movie, but it makes it better.
What the hell's happening?
Shit! It's the oil!
He cut the oil line. The engine's fucked.
The engine's fucked, so you lose traction.
yeah.
I like the fact that
Sorry.
the film is like philosophically pro police brutality.
Yeah, 100%.
They don't just double down it. They almost like triple down on just like oh, this is actually really good that he blows people's brains out.
This is also sometimes called Mad Bull.
Yes, sir, I've heard that.
And why do you suppose he's called that?
Well, I think, sir, it's because of his great strength and his lack of fear in the face of danger.
Sure. Yeah.
There's no one else in the force who could do what he does.
Very well, then. Then by the authority invested in me as chief of police,
Also, his
I
dick's
hereby
pretty
find
huge,
Officer
too.
John Atkins innocent.
He sounds like a fucking bull.
He got a big cock. You should see the hog on this guy.
The police are like, oh, if that's what he says, but I mean, we just call him like, he's got a big guy.
My favorite part. Okay, because it doesn't make sense logistically, but it's so beautiful when he's in a dress, and so I'm gonna recap it. So basically, this news anchor, she's walking downtown. They just followed her from like the shooting range or the gun range. And she is about to be pounced on by 3 burly men, and he comes out and they say, "You're under arrest," and not even a millisecond, just blow all 3 of their brains out.
Yeah.
Not even a second. And then all the news crew comes out and they're like, "That's murder. You guys are murderers. You guys are big stinky killers."
We're the police. You're all under arrest.
Nice.
Fucking point blank shoots him in the face.
Damned murderer.
Police officer, actually.
We could have called.
And then he's like, "Not really. They don't got masks on. And look, he's got a gun. That means he was gonna murder first."
Yeah, it seemed like a rationalization after the fact. Like he was trying to justify the fact that he just blew their brains out like immediately.
Yeah, so whenever, and that was like a pretty good one. Like the news anchor was going off on him saying how this is murder, and I was like, I can't refute any of this. She's right. This is like, I'm telling you. But then he wins the argument logically with the evidence in the situation, makes him the winner, and you're like, so this movie never lets him lose this moral dilemma.
Well, what about the incident in the park when he shot 3 rape suspects without warning?
Yeah, but they were all armed with machine guns, for God's sake.
And so you're saying that justifies his actions?
He asked
Yeah,
first.
that's right.
Yeah, that's right. So happened to be heavily armed. We did not see any guns before that. He was like, check their jackets, but he couldn't have known that they were armed. He like
It's just his experience from being on the streets.
he had to.
There is
he
no
lucked
way.
out. Yeah.
He was completely bullshitting. He was 100% a bullshitter. But that's why I love Mad Bull. Mad Bull is my hero.
Mad Bull, but what do you guys think of the villain, the antagonist of this part?
Oh,
What's his name? Curtis?
I'm gonna kill that cop.
What I'm going to do after this is I'm just going to look at the entire OVA and find pictures of Curtis, because he is just a reaction image every 5 seconds. Every face he makes is a perfect reaction image. What? I'm thinking maybe Curtis isn't a bad guy. It's just I love his face. I love his like expressions. It's like
Yeah, he just has a big grin with like the white teeth and the sunglasses all the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is he was such a fucking mastermind.
Yeah, he was like a chemist. He was like the guy from Breaking Bad. Like he was like
he was.
He like I concocted this special Molotov cocktail that is set to explode at a certain temperature. It's like how do you know how to do this? What's your backstory, Curtis? We need to know more.
What are you doing?
That bottle contains a special Molotov cocktail I've made just for you. When the temperature in this room goes up, the special ingredients in that bottle will suddenly explode.
He's a fucking he's a genius.
Yeah, he's a chemist too.
They're doing kinky shit on the bed, and he like grabs her head and pulls it through the bed frame bars. Oh, no, first he grips the bars and undoes them, pulls her head through, and then he grabs them again, and then puts them back in so that they're even tighter than before, and then she was stuck.
Yeah,
and then
think
he put an explosive soda bottle in front of her face that was going to explode when the temperature in the room hit the right temperature.
I think a lot of that is to like make Madbull look better. Like Madbull, he'll like bang some hookahs and then he'll take their money and shit. But and they were like, whoa, that's kind of messed up. And then this guy comes along and he's like just like abusing them, like beating them up and being like you don't answer the phone, you don't answer the door. I'm doing all the cooking, I'm doing all the cleaning, I make the macaroni. You know, like he just comes in.
This is like, my phone now. I will answer your call.
This is my apartment.
I will be your personal secretary.
You don't even fart without my permission.
Got business to attend to, you know.
No, you haven't. The only business you gotta worry about around here from now on is me.
Okay, Curtis.
I need groceries.
Curtis, I gotta go to the bathroom.
No, you ain't.
Not without me, you ain't.
Yeah, okay. So everything's fixed? Bye, Johnny. I'll answer the phone from now on, Lily.
This is my phone. This is my toilet.
She's like, I gotta paint my nails. I'll paint your nails from now on.
Stop over at my place till morning.
Contact poison.
Oh, the contact poison.
What's the matter?
It's rigged to blow.
Look at all the cracks on that soap. Doesn't it strike you as being unusual that there are so many?
Well, to be honest.
You don't understand. Someone may have coated it with contact poison.
Yeah? What does that do?
Kills you, maybe.
It's lethal. All you gotta do is touch it, and you'd be dead within a minute.
Fucking Madbull is just like constantly banging these hookers and then taking their money, and then our Japanese guy is like, "What the hell? This guy's an asshole." But I was like, he's gonna get absolved of this somehow. And sure enough. He was using the money all along. It wasn't for just hookers. It wasn't for just pleasure.
It's funny. We both thought orphans the same exact time.
Yeah.
We thought it was for the orphans, but it was for rape victims and women with venereal diseases.
Yeah, women with chlamydia or whatever.
Yes, don't you know about him? He's been paying the medical bills and living expenses of victims of rape and other violent crimes. But he's also been financing a clinic where prostitutes with VD can go and get sorted out.
Once again, like nothing he does is actually bad. Like no matter how horrible it looks on the surface, it's actually he does something 20 times better to make up for it.
Yeah.
Let's be honest with him. He's not. He's a great anti-hero, but he would probably be fired from the force pretty fast in real life. But that's why we need more Mad Bulls in this world. You know. Yeah.
Man, I wish Madbull was real.
Yeah, I do. I really do. He is my favorite. God.
What a hero.
It also just seemed like he was just doing his own cases there, just walking around like they're just in dress. And
yeah. They just like
and then
around.
His partner's like, "What are we doing here?"
Don't worry about it.
So, like when he found out, so he's like, "What are you, a virgin?" Yeah, I am. I'm a virgin. Okay, wait 1 second. It took him like fucking 10 seconds. It didn't take him very long to hire 40 hookers to like put into a giant room.
Yeah.
I like the fact he's got connected like that.
He picked his partner up and tossed him into a room full of 40 hookers and went, "Have fun!" Yeah. Oh my god.
All right, everyone. Come on, he's in there.
I wonder what the hell Sleepy's playing at.
hell is all this?
I'm sick of standing here.
Like you could just.
I'm waiting for marriage.
You know what's sad and fucked up is I think what happened. That's the same setting, or what the fuck was her name? Lily, or something.
Yeah.
The one that died. When her bed exploded, all the other hookers like came running out to be like, "What happened? What happened?" Yeah. So that was, and it was all in that crummy building with like the crappy walls and stuff, and that was the same place he took him. So this was like the whorehouse. This was where all the prostitutes hung out and lived.
An entire apartment complex full of whores. Yeah.
So he just like when he went there, he called them all up and was like, "You're gonna just snoo this fucking
snoo him.
Japanese guy to death." But it just made me think that's more fucked up that they're all living in a fucking apartment together, and like it just makes the sex trafficking part seem too real and not touched on.
He pays them money, so I mean it's all good at the end, you know.
That's true, and he gives it to the orphans.
Yeah.
One thing I was confused about was that when he took the money from Lily or whatever her name was. He was like leaving. He's like, "Yeah, that's screwed up. You gotta like report him or something like that." She's like, well, that was his money anyway." So he was apparently paying the hookers and then just taking some of his money back afterwards and then giving that money to the hospital.
Yeah,
to pay the hookers.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know if if he meant it like that or if he was like he gets the money because he gets a cut of what they earn or something. I don't know if that was the sense that she meant that in.
From what I gather, they're trying to say is that that money went to them, like for the chlamydia and stuff, like all those rape victims. Those people who were in there were probably previous, people with sexual assault, and they were just giving that money back, and then he was grabbing it and then putting it back into the system.
Makes a whole new meaning for the word spank bank.
So you think it's like a circular, it's like a cycle, a money cycle?
Yeah, just for like the new girls, so they don't feel so alone when the big dick, big bull comes fucking knocking on the door.
But
you get my $20.
This is what Mad Bull wants. Okay, like we question his motives and we think he's can't be excused, but we just don't know him well enough. Yeah. Maybe if we were his partner, we'd understand how the spank bank works. But
people are saying he's a gentleman, so
How could this happen to such a gentleman?
Sleepy's a gentleman?
He's a gentleman.
Yeah, it's not called
a gentleman and a scholar.
Like I know we were thinking that it's called Mad Bull 34 because they're in like the 34th precinct or something like that, but I think it's actually called Mad Bull 34 because his dick is 34 inches long.
Yeah. I asked him that last night. I was like, man, why is it Mad Bull 34? And he's like, well, check it out.
Check out the hog.
He just threw a baseball up in the air and just fucking.
Yeah. I barely have enough blood. Barely have enough blood in my body to inflate this thing.
Bad boy quota for this movie, since all we have said is good things.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, I suppose we would need to actually have some criticisms because this is like overwhelmingly positive.
I'm trying to think of bad boy quotas. I had some originally, but I can't think of them anymore.
I would say the voice acting is bad, but it's so like considering how goofy the actual material is, it's almost like perfect for it. Like,
that actually fits really well.
Yeah. It's really hard to not.
It did catch me off guard. I would just say too many titties. I'm a man. I like titties. I really do. A big fan, actually. But a little bit too much for me. A little bit too risque.
Mm-hmm.
Then they could have toned that down a tad bit.
Yeah, he's always in like porn star shots, like in the fucking window and stuff, and like a few titty. Yeah, like you're saying, a few titty here and there is fine. It's like, oh man, this is a world full of sex. But this was like straight up turning into like wank material after a little while, and it's like, okay, now I can't show this to my mom. Now my mom can't watch Mad Bull with me because this is fucking weird now.
Imagine if you were like a kid and you really liked anime, and you were like, "Mom, I want to rent some anime from the video store back in like the early 2000s." And she's like, "Okay, we'll get you some animes." Yeah. And then you go there and they have Mad Bull 34, and it's like, "Mom, I want to watch the cop movie." And then like, so you're like a 12-year-old kid and you're watching Mad Bull 34.
So yeah, I mean, other than that, I guess, I mean, I just too risque. I mean, it's good, but I just can't I can't bring the youth group over, the youth group over, and show all my friends after church.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that it was willing to go all out.
My brand new obsession.
And not pull its punches, but I don't think I needed to see Mad Bull fucking. I just didn't need that.
Yeah.
I wanted to see it, but I'm glad I did. But I don't think I need to see it more than like 4 times.
I mean, like
more than 4 times.
I think after the 4th, yeah.
The best use of it is when he's waiting in the operation in front of the operation room, and then that experimental music got laid in, and you're like, oh man, this is. Oh man! Like, okay, to be real, like his injuries weren't that bad. He's, it's fucking Mad Bull. He's gonna be fine. But then, after this long, excruciating wait, he opens the door, and then Mad Bull's just fucking the nurse, raw dog. Like, but if like, because we'd already seen that shit like 3 times before, like it wasn't nearly as funny to me at all. I was like,
oh, you Mad Dog.
He's gonna make it.
I wonder why they haven't brought him out of the operating
What's that
theater
clicking noise?
yet.
Are you playing with a switchblade?
Oh, sorry.
He was getting into the Brooklyn character.
Hey!
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What? Oh,
I knew
no.
it! He was doing the sex the whole time! Speaking about the raw dog, they did touch up on the fact that these sex workers have sexually transmitted diseases.
Yeah, they mentioned...
Did they ever, like... I don't think they ever showed, Yeah, I don't think they ever mentioned that he uses a condom. I don't even think he had time to use a condom. So it's very much
you kind of half expect them to just blurt out like, "Ah, shit, my cock really burns today," something like that.
I am 100% down for thinking that that's one of the other things that he's doing is he's accidentally giving all of these girls STDs. I mean, it is another cycle.
And what's Mad Bull's backstory? Like, we don't know anything about him. Like, if this
he's sleepy.
This is part 1, right, Koji? So there's more.
Yeah, there's more.
So like, tragic backstory and history to prop it up with some more depth. Because otherwise, this was a fun romp. But after this, I'm like, okay, what's the point?
Yeah,
what's the point, Mad Dog?
I mean, it was like I think the pacing was pretty good. It never overstayed its welcome. I think the length was perfect for what it was. But yeah, I think I mean I'm not sure what the other episodes are about, but I'd have to imagine that they show some of his backstory at least.
I was expecting him to sleep more, but he seems to have more time not sleeping.
Yeah, maybe he's like chugging Red Bulls or something off camera.
Red Bull, 34.
He's chugging Monster Energy
right.
Ultra Zeros.
34 Red Bulls.
Yeah, I could see him like someone should do fan art of him holding a Monster Energy Ultra Zero. I want to see that.
You know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do fan art of Mad Bull.
I should Photoshop that and then have it as the thumbnail for this video.
The whole lawyer shit at the end, like fucking Mad Bull's trial at the end was really contrived. It was just in there to just make Mad Bull look even cooler and better.
Yeah.
To redeem him even more. Like there was nothing like hinting at throughout the episode that this was like ever a problem. Like I honestly thought the whole NYPD was Mad Bull and his partner because they showed so little of anything else. And then all of a sudden he's on trial with this lawyer who's like out to get him, and it sounds like he's gonna be back for more. And I'm like, I don't know, just end it.
He's gonna be the antagonist.
I mean, I appreciate the fact that they tried to add like a little bit of like, oh, there's actual repercussions to this. Like they thought that through, but at the same time, it completely clashes with the rest of it. Like you said, it was just like all the deaths were just so nonchalant. Like Mad Bull didn't even think twice about it. He's just like, oh, let's blow their brains out, and so it kind of felt contrived at the end.
And I repeat, you're under arrest.
Yeah,
just blows their brains out. My favorite.
And it would almost be better if they didn't even just attempt to justify what he did. And they're just like, yeah, he's just a cop who likes murdering people. You know?
That's just...
like, they never needed to justify that. Like, we were already on board with it. We're just like, yeah!
I even like the Watson. I can't even remember his name. He got so overshadowed. Even he was like, at the beginning, he was like, that's bad! You shouldn't murder people! That's bad! You shouldn't have sex with so many hookers! But then at the end, he was like, man, I guess having sex with hookers and murdering isn't that bad. Maybe it was I the wrong one.
It was flimsy, but they closed the loop on that well, so they did open the conflict of, like, is it wrong, what his policing style? No, it's not, because of all these reasons. So then I guess next time it'll just, like, once we've got all that out of the way, the next episode he can just go full bore and kill everyone, and we're just like, he's probably got a good reason.
They, like, quickly and haphazardly patch over that. Like, nah, it's good, it's fine, don't worry about it.
That's what I'm going to do.
Because I knew they had guns in their jackets.
The moral lesson that this teaches people is, one, violence solves everything. And the more violence, the more effective it is. Two, always carry a gun. Because the pox are filled with rapists, and they'll.
Three, don't carry some wimpy ass Derringer with only 2 bullets, because it's just gonna get slapped out of your hand.
Just carry a shotty. Yeah.
Yep.
Like Mad Bull.
America is the land of the free, but it is the responsibility of each individual to safeguard his or her own personal freedom.
Shooting range.
And for a woman, the best insurance against an assault is this: the Derringer pistol. It's so small it can fit in the palm of your hand, but it can save your life.
What is it? What are you guys doing here?
We're gonna fuck the ass off you.
You're gonna have a sore pussy.
So,
I was upset they didn't rip. I'm upset they didn't rip Curtis's tattoo off.
Yeah,
I thought that's what was going to happen.
because they mentioned it.
If I don't, you can cut the tattoo off my arm.
They set that up perfectly for that. For
So
they set up the whole, like, his arm, but, like, I just wanted to see the tattoo just get ripped off.
I would also settle for, like, how he, like, shoved him against the train at the end. And, like, smeared him onto it. I would almost settle for, like, if his tattoo got, like, ripped off by the train and, like, landed on the tracks and it showed it.
Well, they got incredibly close when the partner shot his arm, and it went up and grazed his upper shoulder.
Yeah.
And instead it bled on the rose, which is like, okay, that image is cool too, but it doesn't fucking mean anything, because you already set up that the thing's supposed to get ripped off. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Rah, 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 rah.
I think that's the worst. That's the biggest criticism that any of us had.
That Curtis won. Like, Curtis won. He's still he didn't get the tattoo ripped off. It's still there on his arm.
It was floating in the door, but
yeah, he might be dead.
His arm is.
He's still the winner in the end.
His arm is not on him, but it's still on his arm.
Yep, smeared across your window like that.
Yeah. That's a normal day in this New York.
Yeah, that's what New York's like, dude. I think like what this OVA is really good at is kind of posing like moral quandaries, and then just kind of brushing them aside in the most offensive way possible. Like, there's so many heavy themes in this, like rape, murder, police brutality, and all that, and it just handles them in like the most ham-fisted, like insensitive way possible, which is kind of almost quaint and like in like our current era, because everything's kind of like, people are really concerned about like how things look, and trying to be sensitive and trying not to upset anybody. But like I said, this was from that era where like nobody gave a shit. Like they would have loved for people to like post this everywhere across, had the internet been like real as big as it is now, they would have loved for people to start sharing it around, showing off all their ultra violence and stuff.
Should Mad Dog be revived for this generation?
Mad Dog would go
modern
viral,
era.
I think. If they made a new Mad Bull anime, it would.
I called him Mad Dog, didn't I?
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah.
I think it would.
By the way,
it would go viral.
This is the second show that we have watched that a head has been blown off on.
Yeah,
so
within the first 10 minutes.
Yes, I'm waiting for the third episode because a head does not get blown off in the third episode. I'm going to be very upset. Nice.
I mean, we're gonna probably be watching a lot of crazy ass OVAs, so I think there's a quota of at least one head being blown up in each OVA. So
that's why it's called viewing hazard, because it can blow your head off.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the series, our heads are gonna get blown up. It's gonna go.
I mean, I imagine so.
Like the Scanners guy. Yeah.
You know what? I will say I'm very euphoric with Mad Bull.
Right now, I am feeling euphoric.
I am feeling
At this
euphoria. I think he's truly the best, one of the best anti-heroes I've seen on screen. Like, he is what I imagined Deadpool would have been if I had come up with him when I was 15, you know?
I think Mad Bull would probably be able to beat Deadpool in a fight.
For sure.
I think so too, you know? If you take out the stupid, like, Mary Sue abilities, then yeah, 100%.
Whose?
Because, Deadpool's.
Okay, I was gonna say, because...
Is Mad Bull...
Mad Bull ain't no fucking Mary Sue.
Yeah, is he a Gary Stu? Yeah. Does the writer want to be Mad Bull?
Yeah, is there any Gary... Yeah, I'm just gonna make my character just like me, fucking hookers all the time and
extremely buff.
Smoking...
A muscular mustachioed man.
Truly American.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what the writer looks like. We could look him up. He looks exactly like Mad Bull.
Maybe the writer looks like Daizoburo Eddie Ban, but he wishes he were Mad Bull, and then he's like self-cucking himself by watching himself have sex.
Oh wait, do you think I can pull off the Mad Bull stash? I'm trying to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need to live.
How's it going?
Get buff like him. I who did Mad Bull was the author of Lone Wolf and Cub.
Whoa.
I've never heard of that.
That's a really famous like samurai series.
Yeah.
What else did he do?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Crying Freeman.
Crying Freeman, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's a famous one. Wow. So this guy has a lot of famous works, actually.
Could it be a case of bad OVA, good manga source? Well, but this was a good OVA, though.
Well, I think, so, like, the point of a lot of the OVAs, I think, like, not only are they trying to sell themselves, but they're actually trying to sell you on the manga as well, I would assume. Mm. And if that's the case, then I think this did a really good job, because I'm kind of interested.
I'm 100% interested, but I don't know if this is true, but I did hear that a lot of anime is basically 100% trying to get you to read the manga, because the manga's more,
well, now it's more about like Blu-ray sales and shit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's both. Yeah, they do want to sell you on the manga, and the manga usually sells way better if it has an anime adaptation. But also the Blu-ray sales are what really makes the money for the animation companies. Yeah, they do kind of like condense it in the OVA. Like there's some parts that aren't very clear because they don't really take time to give you any exposition.
Yeah.
For a 40-minute.
No, go ahead.
No, it was for a 40-minute like OVA. Like they did do for me at least they did an okay job of pacing. It was a little bit fast, but
Yeah, it was a bit disjointed. Like there were scenes where they just okay, we're doing this now. Now we're doing this. Now we're doing this. Yeah, there's not like really any connecting thread. Like that's how like you were having trouble explaining what the plot was about earlier, and I think that's one of the reasons why. It's because there was no real clear like story thread that it follows through the whole time. It's kind of this, and this.
I don't really remember the plot other than like Curtis, hookers, New York bad, killing bad, but only if you are good guy only if you are bad guy. But if good guy killed, you're good. Yeah, and it's just.
Yeah, if you do some other good things on the side, then it's not as bad if you murder people.
Yeah.
The things that I was thinking about is back in like the 90s and like early 2000s, there was like in like every movie that took place in New York, it just showed it as like some kind of awful hellhole. I noticed.
I mean, wasn't it kind of an awful hellhole back then?
Yeah, I guess so. But like think about like The Warriors, right? There's that movie, Warriors, which took place in New York, I believe. What else? There was Escape from New York, which was like a future, even worse New York, where they just kept prisoners.
Gangs of New
York.
Like
walled off New York, I think, in that movie.
Most mafia movies. I mean, it's just kind of I heard it's like a lot cleaner and nicer now, but I know in the 80s, 70s, and a little bit in the 90s, it was just kind of there was just places. I mean, there still is places in New York you just can't go.
Yeah.
Just kind of that's any like overpopulated.
I have to wonder how much of that is like, was it really that bad, or was it just like, was people's perception of it bad because of the movies all showing it as like a crime-ridden hellhole? I don't know. Maybe it was a combination of the two.
I mean, I live in a city. I live in Memphis, and like it's nothing compared to like to New York City. But there's just some places in the city you just can't go. Same with any city you go to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, see if they just put a magnifying glass on those parts for the genre. Maybe.
Yeah. I'm sure it was exaggerated quite a bit in movies, but I was thinking like I'm from Akron. Like, what if there were a bunch of movies that showed Akron as like a crime-ridden hellhole, where there's people getting their heads blown off and stuff? Like, what if that happened in like a bunch of different movies, and like that became like a thing, and people were starting thinking, oh, wow, Akron's really bad. That must be like hell to live there. Like, So I don't know.
I'll never want to live in Akron.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother's a firefighter in Los Angeles, and he told me that they went on one call where like these two dudes were found in a car with fucking Colombian neckties.
Really?
And like apparently it was like a love triangle between three gay guys. And so one dude waited in the back of the car for them to get in, and then he slit their necks and gave them the necktie. And I was like, that's pretty fucking savage. And that kind of thing just happens, and then like you don't hear about it.
Exactly.
Wow, yeah. That stuff just goes on like that.
Yeah, probably.
Colombian neckties.
Maybe even in Akron, Ohio. Who knows, man?
I haven't heard of it, but I don't know. Maybe.
Do you know why these things go on in Akron, Ohio, and LA? It's because there's no Madball. There needs to be a Madball. There's a petition right now that I'm starting that we need to have an actual Madball. I'm pretty sure there's someone out there that is just on the line.
You think New York's bad? It'd be worse if there wasn't Madball.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
You should have seen it before Madball got here.
Akron, I should become Akron's Madball. I'm gonna get really swole. I'm gonna get a mustache going. I'm going to start talking like this, and then I'll just moider a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They might use this as evidence, but I'll have, like, some kind of, like, plausible deniability involved, and I'll be like, what? Look at them. Look, there was a gun in the other room over there. They could have grabbed it and shot me if I hadn't blown the brains. Your attorney would be like, Exhibit A, and then they make them watch the full 40-minute OVA, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, I guess there's no problem. They're gonna have video of me banging hookahs, and it's gonna be like a back shot with my ass going up and down. They're gonna be like, "Explain this, sir."
What? You've got problems if you think this is justice. By removing this officer from the streets, the only part of the community you'd serve are the gangsters, pushers, and pimps.
They are the gangsters.
I can see why gangsters, pimps, and pushers would want the officer
This says a lot about society.
At the moment, Officer SCs seem to have sole control of prostitution and vice in the 30s.
Hell yeah, dude.
I put it to you that this officer is totally corrupt.
Hey, these guys got my news.
Me and Chad
when they were showing all the voyeur shots of Mad Dog just doing total porn star moves on these girls through the window.
Yeah, they had followed him and were filming him doing it.
Voyeur club.
They had his nudes. Yeah.
Yep.
He didn't seize up at all. He was just like, yeah, yup, that's me.
Yeah, he didn't look worried. He was just like, yep.
That's my favorite move right there. That's called the reverse cowboy. Boy, oh boy, that girl sure does work it.
Oh, look, that's me doing the jackhammer. Like the jackhammer where you bend your dick all the way down and downwards, and you pump up and down like this. It's really hard to do, but it's actually, I got pretty good at it a few years ago.
Hey, you got time? I can call a girl right now. I can show the whole court right now.
What if they bring back that lawyer and they find out that the lawyer is hiring a bunch of hookers too? I bet that's what happens. He's probably involved in a bunch of crime.
I'd love to see them actually get away from the whole hooker angle.
The lawyer has evil anime face, so that means that he's doing evil. Like there is 100% he's doing a bad. Like he isn't just an.
He's he's like the good guy though. He's seeing Madball murder a bunch of people, and he's trying to stop it.
But like 90s anime, like for 90s anime, they draw people like bad, like like that smug look.
Yeah,
that's the bad guy. Like he'll be like they'll always put him somewhere. I thought you were my friend the whole time, and then he just points at his face. He's like, I have the bad anime guy face.
Yeah, like
did you not know I was the evil?
Yeah, but it's like any other anime, and that character would have been the good guy trying to stop a murderous rampage from happening. But in this one, he's the bad guy for trying to stop a murderous rampage. He's trying to stop a madman.
We're doing it for good, we're doing it for good, Bob.
He donated like $50 to the victims of rape. He's a good guy.
Moviecensorship.com. I was trying to look up the second part of this, see what it was about, and I found the censorship website. So I guess we're lucky we saw the US version, so we got the uncut scenes.
Oh, the US is the uncut one?
The poor Brits have the cut version where they don't show nearly as many titties or dress being ripped off or the blood splattering on the naked body and all that stuff.
Take that, Brit bongs.
We got the fucking Brit bongs.
They don't have their anime titty license.
No. What was that picture last night? I think I saw it either. You retweeted it with like the Death Note laughing face.
Oh yeah, this morning.
Yeah, of like some of the just basic animes being the top 10.
And then Interspecies Reviewer got like review bombed to number 1.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. I think all review score like sites like that, like review aggregate sites, people should just do that to movies. It's like just the weirdest shit too. I want really weird shit to be like in the top 10. Like if we can get like Dr. Wood Handsome to like number 5, like my life will be complete.
Once we get a big following on the Viewing Hazard, we're gonna get everything upvoted to number 1.
If I get like, God forbid, I shouldn't get a big audience ever, because I will use them as a sword to get whatever I want put into the top 10 of every list. Everybody, I don't care who you are. Get your parents to do it too. Get your pets. Sign up with 5 different alt accounts and do it.
Mom, the funny guy on the internet's telling me to do something again. Shut up, Mom.
We need to do
Just click the buttons. Just click the buttons, Mom.
Mom and Dad, please. It will mean so much to me.
I need Koji's respect and love. He said he would love me if I do it.
Listen, you chuckleheads. Tony, would you recommend... fuck, man, what's it called again? Mad Bull 34?
I know, I'd 100%. I would 100% recommend Mad Bull 34 to anyone. All of my church youth group is going to watch it. I'm gonna tell them to close their eyes during the titty scenes, but you know what? I'm not going to. Shh, don't tell nobody.
They'll have their eyes closed. They won't even know that you have yours open. Koji,
exactly.
Do you recommend Red Dog, Mad Dog, Rule 34?
Yeah, close enough. Red Bull 34. Red Bull Rule 34. I would recommend it to everybody, including family get-togethers. And for if you're having a church group meeting when you're watching a movie, then I would recommend it for that as well. So
well, I'd say you're all a bunch of sickos. I wouldn't recommend this to anyone.
Okay.
I can't dispute that.
No, I'm just kidding. I would recommend this to plenty of people who definitely can laugh at non-serious things and can suspend disbelief. And my dad would be horrible. My dad's a cop, and he would every time he sees a cop thing, he has to immediately start assessing how realistic it is.
Oh yeah, no, that would be good for this.
And I'm like, just laugh at it. It's fucking funny. But if you get that,
your dad comes back to you. It's super accurate, son. I've never seen a more accurate portrayal of my job.
I had a partner just like that.
No, he's gonna tell me that's so stupid. Don't show me this crap. And then he's gonna text his old cop buddy and be like, "Hey, this kind of reminds me of all the police brutality and prostitute slinging we used to do."
Remember when he blew the heads off those teenagers way back then?
The fruit bitters with their rollerblades.
Yeah,
they're grocery shopping.
They was asking for it though.
You hear knocking on your door, and then it's Mad Bull. Turns out your dad's old cop buddy was Mad Bull the whole time. How does that make you feel?
He's probably secretly my dad or something too. I don't
know. that's my headcanon now. It's Chad's father is actually Mad Bull.
But like he was raised by the partner. But he was raised by the partner, which makes it even funnier.
Shit. Because Mad Bull's too busy fucking hoes to worry about raising a kid.
You need to carry on his legacy.
Normally this would be extremely insulting, but I'll accept this headcanon.
Just coming up with facts about your life that aren't real. Yeah, I accept that as fact.
Calling my own dad.
At the end of it.
Yeah, come on.
Look into this. We're gonna have a whole wiki article about how everyone's lives are.
I'm so glad I put this together for you guys.
Yeah, you
I did
worked
the research
so hard.
for the show. I got the broadcaster set up, and I supplied the voices for both of you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm actually a puppet. I'm actually a very realistic puppet.
I'm actually CGI.
That's why you never see more than one of my hands up at a time.
Yeah, it's up my ass.